and with myself. One day, as I was rapidly rubbing above the cotton crotch of my Supergirl underoos, the door slid open. "What are you doing?" the imagined monster in the closet. Before I could say something, anything, my mother pulled me up by my hair. "You're disgusting! No more playing in here, ever!" I normally did what I was told, but I didn't want to stop touching myself. I liked making myself feel good. So I found another spot. A big, bulky dresser. For weeks, I went unseen until my mother caught me with the door halfway closed. "Cochina! Don't play with yourself!" she screamed as she spanked me. "Do I have to get the belt? That's what bad girls deserve. From now on, I want the door open." She let me go, and I crawled under the bed. Then she told my father to move the dresser. When my father wasn't working, he stared at the television for hours. My mother watched her own TV in her bedroom. His favorite channel was HBO. She said it was expensive. He said it played the best movies. I agreed. Movies kept me out of trouble. When I watched them, I wasn't fighting with my brothers or being bad. I became the characters. I was the heavyweight champion who knocked out Apollo. I was the good son who was no longer a jerk. Until I watched Animal House. For the first time, I saw naked women who were not my mother. And every pair of boobs got my attention. I wanted to touch them and lick them and be the man in the movie who got to. For years, I saw boobs until my mother watched a movie with us. "Why are they watching this?" she said, shoving me into my room. "What about him?" I pointed at my brother. She looked at me as though I hadn't bathed in weeks. "That's not for girls!" So I started sneaking into the kitchen and would watch on the stove. When I go back to bed, I play with myself, imagining what I had just watched. My favorite scene was from Catholic High School Girls in Trouble, a movie about the consequences of staying out past curfew. Those boobs were the best. But eventually, sadly, my mother caught me again. "What's wrong with you?" Determined to cure me of my problem, she brought God into the equation and told me I'd go straight to hell if I didn't stop what I was doing. So I tried going to church and asked for forgiveness, but felt like a fraud for fantasizing about kids in youth group, especially during youth group. At 10, I gave in to temptations. In an abandoned house, I would watch my friends' naked bodies wiggle beneath my tongue, and below theirs, I believed in heaven. Still, I couldn't escape my mother's words. "Don't play with yourself!" With myself. For decades, whenever I or anyone would play with myself, I felt bad. Guilty for wanting to feel good. Only bad girls want to feel good, right? That's what my mother said. That's what the movie said. That's what God said, right? Or was I scared straight down my mother's narrow path, a path as narrow and straight as she deemed it to be? Could I have altered my sexual preference based on media's influence, especially since boobs reshaped movies? Since sex was so negatively discussed in my home, did I naively think my parents' beliefs were my own and rejected my natural tendencies? Do words have that much power or impact? Do yours keep people scared straight or embrace play? When was the last time you played with yourself, by yourself? Did it end with a smile? If not, why not? If you're not having fun with you, how can anyone else? And speaking of anyone else, remember, it's your life. Pave your own way, boobs and all.